Hi, I'm Gordon Jensen. Before this day is over, between 3,000 and 4,000 unborn Americans are going to lose their lives to something called abortion on demand. Let me tell you the true story behind a song I wrote called Sometimes They Cry. It started a few years ago when after one of our concerts a nurse came by and wanted to talk with me. She'd been a nurse at a large hospital near Cleveland, Ohio, and for several years had participated in the performing of abortions. For a long time, she maintained the position that it was just a matter of choice on the part of a woman and no one else's business. But then, for a long time, all of her experience pertained to first trimester abortion. Well, something happened that changed this nurse's thinking drastically and quickly. She was involved one day in an abortion on a woman who was in the third trimester of pregnancy. And while these aren't the most common, they happen more than many people realize. Well, in spite of the saline injection that should have prevented a live birth, somehow this baby managed to be born alive, in a dreadful burn condition, alive and crying. When this happens in abortion, it's called the dreaded complication. Obviously, it's not supposed to happen, but the dreaded complication has been occurring in these United States between 400 and 500 times every year since 1973. Well, the dreaded complication had finally caught up with this nurse, and when she heard that poor infant begin to cry, in an instant she awakened to the reality that this was something more than just a fetus, an unwanted inconvenience. This was a real living baby, and she began to care for that child. But when she did that, a superior ordered her to get away from that fetus and let it die. She continued to care for the baby. She was threatened with the loss of her job. She continued to care for that baby until just a short time later, unable to survive, that baby succumbed and died. And I guess it could be said that that abortion was successful. But this nurse would never be the same. The bottom line is she ended up quitting her job in protest, and now she was standing there telling me this story with tears running down her face. And I got to tell you, the whole issue of abortion on demand reached out and grabbed my heart in a whole new way that day. And that's the true story behind this song.
I can't believe it happened to me. What should I do?
It's a relatively quick procedure.
Nothing is going to happen.
It's a relatively
Can't believe it happened to me.
I'd let you see too much of each other.
It's a relatively quick procedure.
No.
Nothing is going to happen.
It's a relatively quick.
Sometimes they cry, but not for long. Don't you ever wonder where have all the children gone? Sometimes they cry, but not for long. Lord, it's wrong, oh so wrong. Who will mourn our nameless sons and daughters in America, the home of the brave? And who can defend the endless slaughter? People throwing people away. Somewhere right now a doctor moves his skillful hands, ending little lives that God has given, making a mass grave of a garbage can. Oh, but you know the doctor has to make a living. Sometimes they cry, but not for long. Don't you ever wonder where have all the children gone? Sometimes they cry, but not for long. Lord, it's wrong, oh so wrong. Little arms will never hug a mom or daddy. days that will never run and play, and little eyes that will never sparkle gladly. How long will we let them cry in vain? And us making believe that they never were. Make it easier believing murder's not the word. Sometimes they cry, but not for long. Don't you ever wonder where have all the children gone? Sometimes they cry, but not for long. Lord, it's wrong. Oh, so wrong.
I didn't write this song to entertain. I wrote this song to motivate people to action today, because today, between 3,000 and 4,000 unborn Americans are going to have their lives taken from them by abortion on demand. I want you to listen to the story of a young lady who actually had an abortion. This is reality. Listen.
Abortion is wrong. It's life-altering. It's devastating. It's shattering. It not only shatters the baby's life, it shatters the mother's life, it shatters her well-being. It remains with her forever. And I can say this out of experience because I've had one. And I know that some people that are watching are thinking, yeah, I've heard this before. But I'm telling you, if there's a woman out there that's pregnant that is watching this, if she goes through with an abortion, it will affect her life negatively. It's a very bad experience. I've done it. I've gone through the remorse, the grief, the wondering, was it a boy or girl? And the aftermath, the shock, the suicidal thoughts. It's just wrong. It's wrong. Abortion is murder.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's got to stop. Something has to change in American society. You might be wondering, well, what can I do? Well, I think there are 3 things we can all do. Number 1, we can and we must pray. Number 2, we've got to support and continue to support organizations who are offering alternatives to young women who might otherwise have abortions. Organizations like the Crisis Pregnancy Center near you. And number 3, we've got to be involved in the American political process. We've got to let our elected officials know right where we stand on this issue. And together, we can see change. We can see an end to genocide under the blessing of American law. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
And you do not have to get an abortion. Abortion is not the answer. Not the answer at all. It's murder.